At Online MedEd, we walk you through every topic in detail, so you're ready for the boards and the wards.
Understanding cholesterol metabolism has become an increasingly important topic in the world of nutrition today. In the same way that reversing hypertension was easily accomplished by manipulating your diet to your advantage, we can do the exact same thing with cholesterol. So let's get into detail and understand how to make that possible. So think of your liver as cholesterol command central. What your liver does is secrete VLDL cholesterol. This is a lipoprotein particle that is rich in cholesterol esters, triglyceride, and phospholipids. VLDL delivers triglycerides and cholesterol to surrounding tissues, then becomes an IDL, or an intermediate density lipoprotein, which eventually becomes an LDL. Now, LDL has one primary responsibility, and that is to deliver cholesterol to peripheral tissues, including, but not limited to, your skeletal muscle, your brain, your adipose tissue, and blood vessels. Now, we saw in the coronary artery disease lecture how increasing LDL concentrations can accumulate in the arterial wall, leading to increased risk for atherosclerosis. So once LDL has offloaded cholesterol, LDL then returns to your liver and is recycled and is imported via scavenger receptors. Now, on the opposite side of the cholesterol equation, we have HDL. So your liver also secretes HDL particles, which are considered the good cholesterol, because HDL is involved in reverse cholesterol transport. So HDL's responsibility is to suck or vacuum cholesterol directly out of tissues and then return directly to the liver. So in this respect, LDL is considered the bad cholesterol because it's involved in forward cholesterol transport, and HDL is considered the good cholesterol because it's involved in reverse cholesterol transport. So let's go into detail about what foods can negatively impact your LDL level. Now, there's three classes of foods that are known to do this. The first include trans fats. Okay, foods that are rich in trans fats include partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. Now, hydrogenation is a process by which you take a liquid at room temperature and turn it into a solid. And this is used a lot in the food manufacturing business simply because solids are more spreadable and more consumer friendly. In addition to partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, refined carbohydrates have a significant quantity of trans fats. And this is due to the fact that refined carbohydrate products are usually made with milk and butter and eggs, and as a result of that, they end up with a high trans fat concentration. So what refined carbohydrates actually do is they flood your liver with glucose and fructose. And when large quantities of glucose and fructose come into your liver from refined sources, they increase your liver's triglyceride content. The more triglyceride that's present in your liver, the more triglyceride you secrete in VLDL particles, which then leads to an increased concentration of IDL and therefore more LDL. So in addition to refined carbohydrates, there are naturally occurring trans fats that are found in both meat and eggs. So even though small amounts are found in both meat and eggs, the majority of trans fats are found in packaged and processed foods. The second category of nutrients which are of concern in the LDL game is saturated fat. Now, saturated fat has a direct mathematical relationship with LDL. A 1% rise in saturated fat in your diet leads to a 2% increase in cholesterol in your blood. This is a very well described mathematical relationship, and so simply limiting your saturated fat intake can bring LDL cholesterol down. Now, the foods that are highest in saturated fat include dairy products, like cheese, whole milk, skim milk, and butter. Also includes meats, like sausage, pork, chicken, and beef. In addition, eggs and refined carbohydrates. So in the same way that we saw trans fats appear in our refined carbohydrate products, we also get saturated fats coming along for the ride. Now, the third class of molecules that will negatively impact your LDL is cholesterol. So cholesterol-rich foods includes eggs, meat, like sausage, pork, chicken, and beef, dairy products, like cheese, whole milk, skim milk, and butter, as well as fish and shrimp. So foods that are high in either trans fats, saturated fats, and or cholesterol can significantly increase your LDL concentrations. Now, one thing to note is that there are repeat offenders in this process. So you'll see here that eggs are listed in multiple categories, and that meat is also listed in multiple categories, and that dairy is also listed in multiple categories, which is to say that these classes of foods are high in 2 or 3 of these offenders. Now, if we know that these foods are going to increase our LDL cholesterol, well, what can we eat to actually reduce cholesterol? Let's go into detail about that. Okay, the foods that are known to reduce LDL cholesterol are fiber-rich foods. Now, fiber has a very protective mechanism on protecting against an increase in LDL cholesterol. And one of the ways that it does that is that when fiber is present in your food, it literally binds to cholesterol also present in your small intestine, and it binds to saturated fat that's present in your small intestine. As a result of binding these two classes of molecules, fiber, especially insoluble fiber, pulls these directly into the toilet so that they are not absorbed by enterocytes in your small intestine. So fiber-rich foods include fruits, and all fruits are included in this category. Vegetables, whether they are starchy or non-starchy. Legumes, including beans, lentils, and peas. Now, all beans are included in this category, and these are things like black beans, kidney beans, navy beans, white beans. They all are fiber-rich, and they all have a cholesterol-lowering effect. In addition, lentils, whether they're yellow lentils, green lentils, black lentils, red lentils, all of them have potent cholesterol-lowering effects. And it's important to understand that some studies have shown that eating just as little as 1 cup of legumes per day can lead to as much as a 20% decrease in total cholesterol in 6 weeks. So these foods act quickly. Now, in addition to that, whole grains can reduce LDL concentrations, and these whole grains include grains like oatmeal, quinoa, and brown rice. Now, in addition to these foods listed here, there is one other food which is known to be the most potent cholesterol-reducing food on the planet. And that food is actually a fruit. And that fruit is known as amla. So amla is also known as Indian gooseberries. And amla has been used for thousands of years in Ayurvedic medicine to treat high cholesterol very effectively. Now, amla is considered the #1 most effective cholesterol-reducing food ever discovered. And the way that it works is still not fully understood. And it's not necessarily due to the fact that it's high in fiber. There are other components of this food which are known to reduce LDL cholesterol. The actual mechanism has yet to be discovered. But what it has been shown to do in peer-reviewed research is decrease VLDL concentrations, LDL concentrations, triglyceride concentrations, and increase HDL at the same time. So in addition to a whole food plant-based diet, adding small amounts of AMLA, as little as 1 gram per day, can have a potent cholesterol lowering effect. This combination right here happens quickly and is very effective. Now, one last thing I want to leave you with here is that cholesterol metabolism can be slightly confusing. However, interpreting both LDL and HDL at the same time is very important. So we know that foods that contain trans fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol can increase your LDL concentration. And as a result of that, we want to migrate towards foods that are rich in fiber, containing fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, and in addition, add AMLA. So by doing so, you can drive LDL cholesterol right back down. Now, HDL cholesterol does much the same thing. As your LDL cholesterol increases, your need for HDL also goes up. So patients often find that as their LDL cholesterol increases, their HDL concentrations also go up. And similarly, as your LDL goes down, your need for HDL also decreases. So when interpreting cholesterol, be sure to interpret both LDL and HDL together, because even if HDL concentrations are going down, as long as LDL is also going down, that's movement in the right direction. So cholesterol metabolism is actually relatively straightforward to understand when it comes to manipulating it to your advantage using your diet. Simple basic strategy: stay away from the bad guys, migrate towards the good guys. If you're looking for a list of foods that are high in trans fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol in rank order, listed by most offensive to least offensive, take a look at the notes below this video.